Well, the Children's Aid Society, the Lehman Center, was started back in 1987 in response to child abuse being the #2 killer of children in York County. I'm happy to say that that's not the case today, but the reports of child abuse in York County are still pretty significant in the state of Pennsylvania. And although the pandemic this year has caused the number of cases to go down or the number of reports to go down, our sense statewide is that that's really not a real measure because kids are no longer in front of their mandated reporters, the teachers, the coaches, their counselors. So the reason we're feeling cases are down is because children are no longer in front of those mandated reporters. And if anything, the stress of the pandemic and the isolation and the staying at home has probably put extra stress on parents and kids, which makes our preventative services, especially our respite care here in the crisis nursery, so important. Well, obviously, I just talked a little bit about our respite care, and we provide an overnight crisis nursery respite for children. We also provide a family advocate that can help families and parents connect with services in our communities and get that extra support they may need to just get them to move them from, their current crisis situation into a sustainable situation. We have parent support groups where parents can come together and talk with each other and share the things they're experiencing with their children. We do parent education with our Incredible Years program that teaches parents how to be better parents with their kids. We also have a hotline where parents can call on the hotline, especially in those stressful moments, and speak with one of our caregivers here and just get some advice or just talk through what's going on, because often just having someone to listen is real important. We also provide support groups in the schools to pregnant teens, and once this pandemic is over, we hope to get back into the prison system where we support our parents that are incarcerated, because obviously they need some skill sets as their child is growing while they're incarcerated. Once they come out, their child is a much different person. Well, the impact that Give Local York has is so important because it's really the way that this community, where the Lehman Center Crisis Nursery is centered, can give back to some of the services we do. So it's your way in this community to give back to your community and supporting some of the most vulnerable children and families in our community. Our vision is that all children are safe and feel loved. And so you're sharing that. You're sharing making all children safe, and you're sharing the love of this community, the great love that Give Local York shows back to those children. And obviously it supports our programs. For $250, you can sponsor a day here at the Lehman Center. So it could be, Joe Smith Day at the Lehman Center if you want to do that for $250. It might not seem initially like, what is my impact? Like your dollar, we could tell you, is putting a chicken nugget on the table or something like that. But the impact you're making in these children's lives is really long term, because you're giving them a time in their life where maybe they need a break from the world they're living in, the violence of their neighborhood, or the difficulty of an addicted parent, or maybe a family environment that it's a single parent and that parent is just stressed out with job and work and raising kids and now doing school at home and doing all those kind of things. So you're giving those kids a place and a break. Well, obviously, child abuse is a big issue for us in this community. And, so often parents aren't able to provide the necessary things that kids need today, just because of the environment we live in. And this past year has caused parents to lose jobs, to not have the same resources they've had in the past. So, the services that we provide just help to stabilize that family, to support that family, to move that family into a position of stability where and again, children can grow, children can develop, they can become the kids and the people they need to be in the future. We know that children who live in violence have adverse child experiences, and that can later affect them as adults in their life, that then leads them to their own problems of addiction and joblessness and homelessness. So if we can help kids to feel supported now, it's going to solve some of our problems in our community tomorrow. I guess you're talking about our staff, the people behind the scenes and our staff that are here every single day. And I think what they would tell you is that it's just the passion that we're making a difference in a kid's life. And you may not know what that means today, because as you're changing a diaper or reading a book to a kid or preparing their lunch for them, but it's down the road. It's when that child actually comes back and visits us and tells you about their life. And having been here 35 years, we have children that are now adults in our community who have come to the Lehman Center, have experienced the love and the support that we can give, and now they are out raising their own children and have come back and said to us that if it wasn't for the Lehman Center, I don't think I'd be the parent I am today. Well, as I said, it's a definite reach and an outreach to the community, because when we reach out into the community and they can get reconnected with us, we have people that come here now and volunteer. We have people that give us gifts now. I think that when you say the Children's Aid Society, the Lehman Center, people nod their head and say, "Oh, okay, I know who that is. I know where you are. You're that colorful building, brick building on the 400 of Market Street." So, I think Give Local York and the outreach has helped make people drive by us every day. Hundreds of people drive by Market Street and by our building and probably drove by and said, "What is that over there?" And I think with Give Local York and our outreach to the community has helped people to understand who we are and what we do here at this center. Well, it'll enable us to continue the great services that we provide here, providing 24 hours, 7-day a week, 365-day respite, especially in crisis situations. And I'll just give you an example. A single mom, has to go into the hospital and she has nowhere for her child 0 to 6 to go because maybe her family lives out of the area. So your financial contribution, your support of us on Give Local York is going to help us to continue this service, to continue to provide this free service in this community. And so it just helps us to continue to do the work that we do to help those families that are so in need in our community.